This is the 8th video in a series pointing out 100 of the slanderous lies and misrepresentations found in the Amazon docuseries Shiny Happy People, Duggar Family Secrets, in chronological order as they appeared in the program. For more details and evidence about each lie and misrepresentation individually, please see the other videos on this channel. So we're now still in episode 3 up to number 75.
When you track Gothard's teaching long enough, you see that what we're talking about is the playbook of a powerful narcissist.
Here's Joshua PEASE once again making a broad slanderous statement about Bill Gothard to further the narrative that he is an evil, manipulative man. And right here, I'll throw in a few more clips where Shiny Happy People is characterizing him in a demon-like fashion throughout the program, comparing him to a snake and even comparing him to Charles Manson. This is pure propaganda.
Wouldn't repost something by Charles Manson, don't do this.
It was kind of like, you know, looking the devil in the eye. He does have an odd physical appearance. You know, he's got a Lego-shaped head and his ill-fitting men's warehouse suit.
He can just draw anybody in. It's like watching the snake in the Jungle Book.
Trust in me.
And a dynamic where there's not any institutional checks and balances put in place.
Shiny Happy People is trying to characterize Iblp as a cult. So they are putting aside the fact that Iblp has a board that oversees the organization and can overrule the president of it. It was not governed solely by one person who has absolute rule with no checks and balances. This is another false statement by Joshua PEASE.
You look at all the different stories, all the different families, you look at all the different campuses, everywhere you go, you're gonna see the exact same thing happening. Abuse shows up in everything that it touches.
Again, Joshua PEASE makes another broad slanderous statement. This is simply not true, and part of the evidence of that is most of the stories in Shiny Happy People alone have been shown to be false. Shiny Happy People uses Joshua PEASE's slanderous statements over and over again. This is just another one.
You know, you have this kind of parallel of Bill Gothard abusing young girls in his program and Josh Duggar abusing young girls in his home.
Here again, Shiny Happy People is using the accusations against Bill Gothard and suggesting that because he was accused, therefore Josh Duggar abused girls too. There is no evidence that these two things are linked in any way, but that is the false narrative, so they run with it.
One woman turned around and he was sitting at the desk and she could see that he had an erection underneath his pants and his legs were spread out. He was staring intently at her.
This false story came from a woman named Lauren Rose, who claimed that this happened to her in the failed repressed memories lawsuit that was against Iblp and Gothard. But in a text, when asked specifically about this story, she told another woman that this didn't happen and she wouldn't testify to it. You can see more details about that by looking at the video about Joshua PEASE's lies and misrepresentations, which you can find in the links below.
It almost feels like whatever was repressed inside of Gothard was spilling out into him testing boundaries of like how far he could go with someone before they freaked out.
It may be getting a little tedious mentioning all the broad and generalized slanderous statements by Joshua PEASE. This is him psychoanalyzing Gothard by using false narratives and slanderous claims and stirring them all together to make a slander stew, suggesting he knows why Gothard supposedly does all these evil and abusive things. It's just more propaganda. There's no evidence or proof of any of this.
There was one woman who accused Bill Gothard of rape.
This is a really egregious story that Shiny Happy People uses in conjunction with several others to continually push the false narrative that Bill Gothard abused women. They know this was just an allegation and through an investigation had no basis in fact. But it was an allegation, so they use it to further push their agenda. There is no evidence whatsoever that Bill Gothard ever raped anyone, and they know it.
So Gothard was removed from leadership from IBLP because of all of these growing allegations that are coming against him.
Bill Gothard was not removed from leadership. He decided to resign himself. The first time he tried to resign, the board did not accept his resignation. He resigned a second time, and they accepted. He was not thrown out, but chose to leave because of the scandals brought on by the false allegations that he did not want to ruin the ministry.
Because Mr. Gothard has been taken out of it, from what my understanding is that JimBob and Michelle are now his replacement.
This is just a completely false statement. JimBob and Michelle Duggar were not ever set to be and have not been Bill Gothard's replacement at IBLP. This is just plain false.
With them being on TLC's show, I think that it has definitely given them a platform to encourage people to come to IBLP, and they've encouraged people to move to Arkansas, which is completely a cult move.
This is Bobby Holt suggesting that the Duggars are trying to gather people to Arkansas to start a cult. Seriously, this is a very slanderous statement and meant only to dig at and harm the Duggars. The Holts at that time had turned out to be the friends from hell. Since then, though, the Holts have apologized to the Duggars for their interview and participation in the Shiny Happy People program. The Duggars have forgiven them and they have reconciled. You can find out more about that in the videos on this channel. Next time, Anna Duggar is just staying with Josh because of her stupidity and lack of education due to ATI. More lies from Emily Anderson, and Brooke lies about a visit to Gothard's home. All this and more next time. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe.